Have you ever felt that, like, when you're trying to learn something new, it's just like an endless mountain of information?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah,
It's so easy to get overwhelmed, especially with something as big as, like, learning a new language.
exactly. And so today we're going to explore some strategies for, like, getting the most bang for your buck with your learning.
We're going to look at the 80-20 rule,
Ooh, the Pareto principle.
right, and how it can be applied to learning English.
Love it. So the 80-20 rule basically says that 80% of your results come from just 20% of your effort.
Yeah, basically, like, you wear 20% of your clothes 80% of the time.
Exactly. Or, like you always reach for the same couple snacks in your pantry, even though it's full of food.
Yeah, and it's interesting to think about how that applies to language. Like, there are over 1 million words in the English language,
Oh my gosh, that's so many.
but native speakers only use, like, 2,000 to 3,000 words
Yeah.
in their daily conversations. Yeah, and get this, the top 1,000 most frequently used words make up like 85% of everyday speech.
Wow. So that means if you just focus on learning those top 1,000 words, you'll be able to understand and speak in most situations.
Exactly. It's much more efficient to focus on those high-frequency words than trying to memorize every word in the dictionary.
Right. Like you probably don't need to know the word defenestrate right away unless you're planning on throwing someone out of a window.
Exactly.
All right, so vocab is important, but what about grammar? I feel like a lot of people get tripped up on grammar rules.
Oh, for sure, but just like with vocab, not all grammar rules are created equal.
What do you mean?
Well, even native English speakers don't always follow all the grammar rules perfectly in casual conversations.
That's true. Like we say gonna all the time instead of going to.
Exactly. And everyone still understands what we mean. So for English learners, it's much more important to focus on the core grammatical structures that form the foundation of most sentences.
So what are some of those foundational structures?
The present simple tense.
Like I eat pizza.
Yep. The past simple, I ate pizza.
The future tense.
I will eat pizza.
Ooh, and the present perfect tense.
I have eaten pizza.
Those are like the workhorses of English grammar.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you can master these 4 tenses, you can communicate so many different ideas.
So much better than getting bogged down in like the passive voice or really complex grammar rules.
Sure.
Okay, so we've talked about focusing on common words and basic grammar. What else can help us learn English more efficiently?
Learning to speak in a way that sounds natural, like how native speakers actually talk.
Right, because textbook English can sound really stiff and formal.
Yeah, totally. So instead of just focusing on individual words, try learning common phrases and chunks of language that native speakers use all the time.
Can you give us some examples?
Sure, like instead of saying, I would like to order a coffee, you could just say, can I get a coffee?
Ooh, or instead of saying you are welcome, you could say no worries.
Exactly.
I love that. So how can we learn these natural phrases?
Watching TV shows, especially sitcoms like Brooklyn Nine-Nine or The Office, they use a lot of everyday language.
Way more fun than memorizing flashcards.
Toto.
So we've got the right vocab, grammar, and phrases. Now it's time to actually start using the language.
That's right. Listening and speaking are so important. And I know it can be scary to start speaking in a new language.
It's definitely nerve-wracking, but the more you practice, the easier it gets.
Like anything new, you're going to feel a little awkward at first, but even just 10 minutes of practice every day can make a huge difference.
So what are some things our listeners can do for their daily practice?
Find some English content that you enjoy listening to.
Ooh, like podcasts or music.
Yep, and try repeating what you hear out loud, or even recording yourself speaking.
Ooh, and what about that shadowing technique I've heard about?
Yeah, shadowing is great. You basically listen to a native speaker and try to imitate them in real time.
Like their pronunciation and rhythm.
Exactly.
Cool. So now we're listening, we're speaking. Is there anything else we can do to make our learning more efficient?
Yeah, it's important to actually use the English that you already know. Don't just keep studying and waiting until you feel ready to speak.
Like you have to actually cook the food in your kitchen instead of just letting the ingredients sit there and rot.
Exactly. If you don't use it, you lose it.
So how can our listeners start using their English right away?
Try sending voice notes to friends in English instead of texting.
Ooh, I like that.
Leave comments on English videos or articles online.
Or even just talk to yourself in English.
Yeah, just describe what you're doing or thinking.
Nobody's listening anyway.
Right. And try to find opportunities to join speaking groups or have conversations with native speakers.
Even short conversations can be really helpful.
Totally.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
Any final words of wisdom for our listeners?
Let go of the need to be perfect.
It's so easy to get caught up in wanting to speak perfectly fluently before you even open your mouth.
And it holds so many people back. Remember, even native speakers make mistakes.
We do.
So embrace your mistakes. Laugh at them. It's all part of the learning process.
Focus on progress over perfection.
Exactly.
Okay, so to sum up our 80-20 tips for learning English.
Number 1, focus on learning the most common words.
Number 2, prioritize the basic grammar structures.
Number 3, learn how people actually speak in everyday situations.
Number 4, practice listening and speaking regularly.
Number 5, use the English you already know in any way you can.
And number 6, let go of the need to be perfect and focus on making progress.
Those are the key things to try.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
It was my pleasure.
And to all of our listeners out there, remember that even small, consistent efforts can lead to big results over time. Don't underestimate the power of just showing up and doing the work, even if it's just for a few minutes each day.
Keep practicing and keep learning.
We'll see you in the next episode.
Bye for now.